Having me here.
First things first, why do we spend so much during the festive season?
Because we want to. Because we want to entertain ourselves and our families. We want to spoil ourselves. We call it spoil ourselves. And yeah, we like good times, you know.
This is despite all the advice that we've gotten, by the way.
No, please, what's that? Huh? What's that?
Yeah.
We like being in debt. I think we really like to complain. Complain is our second name.
Now, you say we like being in debt. Do we love complaining about school fees, even though we've experienced that challenge the previous year that we couldn't afford school fees, we couldn't afford to pay school? Do we enjoy just
No, that's not even a complaint. That's not a complaint. It's a poverty plea. We plead poverty because we cannot afford, we cannot, you know, school fees is very expensive, you know, forgetting that you may have spent about 5,000 or 6,000 or even 10,000 rand on booze.
So now that we are in January 2014, how do we recover the debt and the overspending and then try and put our finances in plan for January?
So now we're talking about an empty purse syndrome. Okay, so it's the after effects. So you know actually in one way or other that you've actually overspent if you're still having turkey every day. I mean, there's some people who are having leftover sheep that they slaughtered sometime. It's the 7th today.
Yes.
They're still having some of that. Then you know, gosh, you went for the splurge. So if you, excuse me, if you're still having some of that, then you know that, you went overboard.
Yeah.
But the reality is now the purse is empty. And I'm hoping that it is empty, but you have been sensible enough to make provision for money for whatever transport it is. Because then if you have not, then you messed up. You need to go and find money somewhere, or you're going to raise a loan or whatever. I can't tell people what to do, but they need to sort themselves out. The reality is you cannot afford to miss work, so you have to find something.
Yes. But you work with financially distressed people on a regular basis. What seems to be the most common challenges or queries that they bring to you?
How can I make my life better? I'm in debt. I did overspend. I'm in a mess, and they are in a mess. Like, you don't understand. It's a serious mess. And somebody will actually need 100% of one's salary to actually pay off the monthly obligations. So, in other words, you're 100%, you're like 200% over indebted. It's kind of serious. Yeah. But I'm going to assume that people have been sensible and that we can come up with a little mini plan on how people can survive next year this time.
And what is that plan? Very much interested in that.
Do not be scared to use this thing called your thinking capacity. Think forward and decide what you want that year to look like. That's point number one. Point number two, when you think forward and you can plan that this time next year, I don't want to go through the same mess that I'm going through, then you will start to set up a goal. Okay, and saying, I've spent X amount, and that is hopefully you made a list of all your expenditure, and you know more or less how much you've actually spent this year. Add 10% on that, and then you decide, okay, my expenditure for Christmas next year and New Year is going to be 10 grand, whatever the amount that you can afford, and then that goal will then include saving. That means you need to now start saving. So don't forget to think forward, have a goal, do not just have a goal, write that goal down. And after writing that goal down, you need to go for that goal. Okay, start putting that into action. Because if you don't write it down first and foremost, you're just wishing your life away, which is cool, by the way. And happy poverty, that's the case, you know. But if you're really serious, you want to clean up your finances, then you need to have that goal, go for it. And you know what, start small. A lot of people think that when you have money at the end of the year, you've worked hard. It's the little things that count.
Absolutely.
People have stokvels. People are very clever, you know. They can save up with a stokvel if they're not disciplined enough, or you can open up your small bank account and you can keep throwing in a little bit at a time and stuff like that. And at least it takes you one step closer to your goal.
So now that is just for preparing you to save for 2014. The advice you're giving us,
2050.
2050. Oh, so we're thinking ahead.
So that's now thinking ahead.
Yeah.
You've made a mess already. The purse is empty. how is it going to help you, for me to help you to how to survive this year? Because you've wasted the year anyway. You've actually feasted yourself to poverty.
Interesting. But talking about poverty now,
Yeah.
this is the ripe time for those people who are in debt to go to loan sharks and unsecured loan sharks. What would be your advice to them right now?
Look, I'm not going to tell people what to do. They know very well that if you go to a loan shark, you're going to pay 30% interest per month. Okay, let's say you take 1,000 rand. That's like 3,600 that you're giving somebody squat free. You're saying, here's my money. You can have your grocery bill guaranteed on a month-to-month basis at my own expense. It's a choice.
Yeah.
People, they choose their path. You know, you're in a job because you chose this job, and if it doesn't pay you well, then do something about it and upskill yourself. Do whatever. And I think a lot of people also don't want to educate themselves. Get yourself educated as one of your goals for the new year.
Yeah.
You know, I run a beautiful education program called the Debt-Free Dream. It's for people who are sick and tired of being in debt and who want to get out and want to learn and teach themselves how to manage money, how to manage their dreams and things like that. You know, and just make a success of their finances.
Oh, before we let you go, because unfortunately we've run out of time.
Yep.
I read a previous story where analysts actually forecast that the economy might be doing well as far as job creation. There seems to be a forecast on the low expectations of job creations for 2014.
Right.
Now, what does this say to the spenders, to the people that take out debt?
Yeah, that makes me nervous because then it means some jobs may be on the line even now. I mean, some management of companies are planning and saying, now, should we actually downsize? And now here you are, you've gone in there and you've overcommitted yourself with large debt, and then the next thing, the ex come to ex you and saying, sorry, you know, it was really nice having you, but we don't have space for you anymore. And now you're stuck with this debt. And understand, debt never goes away.
Very important. Thank you so much for joining us.
Winnie
Kunene, Money Psychologist. And you can visit her website at www.winniekunene.co.za, or you can send her an email on the dream at winniekunene.co.za.